Take one, take two. Is this video recording? Is it recording? Oh yes, it is recording. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Rebi Ruby. Guys, let's take a moment for the hair. For the hair, guys. Take just one moment for the hair. Guys, it is growing, this hair. Hey, did I say hello, guys? Hey guys, wherever you are, I hope today you're having a good day, and we are back on with another video on this channel. Let me position myself, guys. I'm trying to learn this YouTube thing. I really don't know how to edit videos, and I'm just like one day at a time learning a little bit, so that hopefully one day I'll give you like quality edited videos. But for now I'm just using my phone. Guys, if you feel like you want to start a YouTube channel, start it. It doesn't matter if you have expensive gadgets. You don't have to wait to have expensive like cameras or whatever. You can actually use your mobile phones. I have been using my mobile phones to capture most of my videos, and I'm not very good at tech stuff, so I don't even know how to edit videos yet. I don't even know, like just now I've learned that I can actually put my video on top, my phone on top of a tripod. So it's actually today standing on top of a tripod, is holding it. Who knew? Okay guys, so I'm excited today for no reason. Apparently, I'm just excited because today is a good day and the weather is beautiful outside. I'm using my natural light to film this video today, and I am in the Emirates today. I'm in my room today in the Emirates, and later on in the night, I'm gonna go for airport standby, to just stand by the airport. They call me whoever falls sick or whatever, so I'm gonna be on standby until later on in the morning. So I just thought to come on here and make a video. And guys, thank you so much for the people who have been subscribing, who have subscribed, the new visitors to my channel. Hello, this is Rebi. Yes, this is our channel together. And thank you guys so much for the people who've supported this channel. I'm grateful. So today I'm coming back to your video, to this channel, and I just wanna come back here to make a video. There was a lady who gave me a video suggestion, and she was telling me to film, as in to give a testimony regarding how I came from Africa, like how I found my way where I am now. Like, yeah, I think she was just trying to let, because I let you guys know about little bit about my background, if any of you doesn't know exactly who I am, where I'm from. So my name is Rebecca, and they call me Ruby. Some people call me Rebi, and I come from Kenya, so that is in East Africa, and yeah. So currently I live in the Emirates, and I have been here for the last 10 years. And this lady asked me to just give a testimony. And guys, sometimes I feel like, I don't know, I'm a Christian, I'm born again Christian, if I can clarify. And sometimes people I used to go to a church back home in Kenya, where people used to give testimonies regarding what the Lord has done, you know, in church, you know. So, but sometimes I feel like some people could take it differently when it comes to somebody talking about being where they are, not being where they used to be, and as in their achievements. Sometimes I feel like people could feel like someone is bragging if they speak about their achievements. Some people don't understand the whole concept of testimony. So guys, in this video, I don't want to really make you guys feel like I am bragging in any manner or form. I'm just coming here to give you guys a little bit about my background, and to hopefully try to maybe encourage somebody who is right now in their lowest point. Yeah, we have those lowest moments. Okay guys, I'm not gonna be ranting up and down in this video. I'm just gonna go straight forward to giving you guys a little bit of background. Guys, I come from a polygamous family back in Africa, and my dad had two wives. My mom was a second wife. I'm trying to actually make this video as fast as possible so that I don't take too much of your time. So my mom was a second wife, and it was not by choice. She was kidnapped, because those days of my mom's era, they used to kidnap women. They just find you going about your business in your village, and boys just get rowdy and kidnap you, you know, and they make plans to kidnap you, and then they just kidnap you and lock you in their houses, take you to their homes, strange place, lock you in their houses, you know, and little you end up, no, all you know is that you are now stuck there because you're pregnant, and once you're pregnant you cannot get out of that place and go back to your mother's house. So that is what happened to my mother. She was kidnapped by my dad in the rural Africa to get married, to be with my dad, and that is how it came about. And it was not, she did not willingly want to be second wife. So I came from a very disturbed, as you can see, because my mom was very disturbed. They fought all the time, and with my stepmom, with everybody in the family, and I came from a very, very broken home. My mom decided to escape, you know, all the beatings and all the drama and the quarrels after she gave birth to us, and she decided to just run away from it all. And so she went to another village to try, and she was saloonist, to try and make it on her own without my dad. So that is how she raised us, single-handedly. Sometimes she could not even be able to raise us, and so she just like gave us up to people to help her raising us. But I was never began schooling until I was maybe 10 years old. That is when I began schooling, because I was doing child labor when I was young to try and help my mom, babysitting and, you know, house keeping for people and all that. So that is how my childhood was, very disturbed. I felt very unloved, because most of my life I didn't have my mom around me. You know, she was broken, we were broken, everyone was broken in my family, so I didn't really have a close-knit family to begin with. So when my mom left, as in when after that we all scattered wherever, so you had to find your way through life. Nobody was there to teach you on how to be a woman, and you know, you just had to find your way through life. So after I finished school, I had to get out of Africa, and that is when I found my way into the city, in Nairobi city. And I found my way because I just came to start looking for a job. I didn't know what, I didn't have a home, I didn't have anybody called, you know, I just didn't want to depend on anyone. So I know that many girls usually resort to prostitution and all, but for me, I felt like if I have my two hands, why can't I just do anything can't I do anything to get money? So I decided to become a domestic worker. So I was a house girl. It's called house girl, like, you know, like the domestic house helps in Africa. So I became that. So as a domestic worker, I used to do that so that I can at least have a place to stay, because if I go knocking on people's doors to find a job, I could find a job basically washing, housekeeping, looking after children, and just being a housemaid in general. So I did that a lot in Kenya, in Nairobi, and most of the time, I don't know, but I just didn't get along with the women of the houses, because they just maybe because I came from a very disturbed childhood, so I was always feeling like I'm getting attacked, and I just didn't, you know, like I just had that defensive side of me that I didn't want to be pushed down or be mistreated or anyone. So I just like fought, really. I just like fought my way through life. So yeah, so sometimes I couldn't get along with people, with these women of the house, sometimes because their husbands are trying to get on with me, but obviously I cannot do that. I cannot, so I cannot, I'm born again, I cannot break anybody's family. So I always found my way going from house to house, house to house, because sometimes you find a place, you're getting mistreated, you sleep late, you wake up very early in the morning, you don't eat properly, you're getting, like, you're really suffering. Housemates in Africa are treated like basically nothing, like you are nothing. So yeah, so that is how I began my life. And then after some time, I really decided that, excuse me, I had siblings who are really suffering a lot, because by then my mom was like almost really sick in her sick bed, and I felt like I could actually do something more than just being a housemaid, because it was not bringing money much. You just, the more you're a housemaid, the more your mentality is just that I'm gonna be this for the rest of my life. But I felt like I could be something better, more than just being a housemate. So I started sorting help from church. Sometimes I could be homeless, in a sense of somebody, I'm kicked out of someone's house. Like, I felt like I was almost like a foster kid. Like, I started working in these homes when I was really little, and then I every time they didn't like me anymore, they kicked me out. I sleep in the street corridors, they kicked me out again. And that is mostly how my life was, when I was back in Kenya. And then one time I decided that I want to join church, and in Kenya we have this thing of people in churches. It's no offense, but I'll tell you that people in churches live and look a certain way, that if you don't live and look like that, you just like feel like an outcast. So I didn't have good clothes, I didn't smell good, I was homeless, because most of the time I was sleeping in the church benches. I was just in church because I could find at least the church door was always open, so I could find a place a shelter. So I was just there. So when you wake up the next day, you didn't shower, you didn't brush your teeth, you're not clean. So I just didn't fit in those churches. I just felt like I was a homeless person who was just there. But sometimes I was just like listening to God, looking at everyone around. Everyone else looks so well put, looks so smell good and everything. They look like they came from a very good background. And me, I just felt like, why wasn't God doing anything for me? Like, was I an outcast from the time I was born, or what happened that nothing good was ever happening to me? I felt like everyone around me was getting blessed but me. And then I was like, I just like was always, sometimes I could not even listen to the sermons because I was too hungry and tired. I was just like maybe sleeping through the sermons, and I was just not like, I was just suffering. And then one day I was just like, I said, let me go. Probably the pastor will not notice me, but let me just go and try and seek help from them, because. And anyway, to cut the long story short, I got help from this church. They actually took me in to work in their kitchen department, and I was working in, as a domestic worker basically in the church. In that church, they gave me a place to stay. They rented me a hostel to stay. So from that hostel, I used to work in the church, go back to the hostel. I used to be a very disciplined person. I felt like I didn't have to be rebellious to get my way, like in a sense of I didn't have to resort to prostitution, because a lot of girls in Africa resort to prostitution when life became really hard. So I felt like I didn't have to do that. Even when I was sleeping in the street corridors, I just was praying, God, please just protect me. I don't want anybody to touch me or rape me or infect me with HIV. I just want to get my way through life, and I just want to, so yeah. And I went to this hostel. I was staying there with the rowdy girls, rich. They had families who were paying for them hostels. But for me, I was being paid for by the church. If the church decided to kick me out anytime, they could do that. So I took this time to actually look for jobs and try to, by word of mouth, listen to what interviews were going on where, you know, even though I went to church part-time, but I was always like tamaking, walking, trying to find something to do, because I hate being dependent on somebody depending on someone. I hate it. Even though it was church, I just felt like everyone knew my struggle. Everyone knew that I was being supported by the church. So I just felt like I just really wanted to get myself out of this situation and get somewhere. Yeah. So I remember we could go for prayer, fasting. And I remember when I went one time to the mountains, and I was really praying and just asking God. I don't know my way through life, but I have seen a lot of people giving testimonies regarding you doing things for them. But I don't want to only listen to other people. I want to see you for myself, because you created me too, and you molded me too, and you wanted me to experience you too in this life. I want to see you for myself. So after that, going from that prayer and fasting in the mountains, that is when I came back again, and I heard about the job opportunity to come and work in the Emirates. You know, the girls were yapping about it in the hostels. So I said, oh, okay, so let me try my luck and go to this interview that was coming. People were coming to interview people from Dubai. So I went to this interview, and luckily I was one of the people who are accepted. So I, they came as they wanted us as sales associates to come and, you know, become sales girls in the malls in Dubai, and that is what I came here for at. And it was really paying really bad. When I first came to Dubai, they took away our passports. You don't have any rights to even go anywhere. All your documents are taken by these companies, and we were living in a bed space. That means that if you cannot afford a place to stay, you have a room like the one I have here, and we have like six deckers, beds, double beds, and you have 12 girls in one room. And I used to live like this, and again the money was really not good. So I felt very frustrated, because I've been homeless all my life and I didn't have any place called home. So I felt like, even though I'm working here, I need to find a way to have a place called home, because I know that my siblings were all suffering back home in Kenya. No one was willing to take them up, even though I have distant relatives who are well capable of taking them up, but no one took them up. So I said that if nobody was ever gonna take them up, I'm the only one who was gonna take up these siblings of mine. So I said to myself, I just wanna get out of this struggling. But when I was working in as the sales associate, you were just earning money from living from paycheck to paycheck. I mean, you're earning money to pay for your accommodation and food, and that's it. That is just the money that you get. You cannot even have enough to help anybody with. And my aim was to help my family, my siblings, as much as possible. Help them with education, help them with a place called home, and just, like, you know, do something to them. And I remember I was always, my wish was ever to have a home. And even though I was working, that job, the first job I had in Dubai, could not be able to do that. So I said to myself, because when I was working in the mall, I used to get people coming to me telling me, oh, you should model, you should do something else apart from being here, just you're wasting your life, or you should try and apply for Emirates airline, you should try. So people were just coming and giving me these ideas. Then I started putting it in my head, imagining myself that now I am a flight attendant. So I could just go and, you know, Google and read a lot about flight attendant life, job, the companies that I was looking forward to working to, Emirates, Etihad, Qatar Airways. I was just like in there, and I started putting it into my mentality. Even though I came from a very poorly background, I was very, my thoughts were mediocre thoughts. Everything about me was, I was so full of mediocrity, you know. I didn't know how to dress up, I didn't know anything. I just was just there, you know. So I thought to myself, okay, start putting it into your mentality that you want to be something more than just being a poor woman, you know, like somebody who can, you just have to try and put yourself in a position yourself. Stop having this servant mentality and position yourself in a in a place as in slave mentality, sorry, because when you have a slave mentality, you're always walking with your head down. I'm good for nothing. I've always been slave. I've always been poor. I can't make any. But I just try to look at myself as more than that. Then I started behaving, acting, talking. I developed my personality, started being less angry, started being more, I just started develop my personality a lot. And then I read up online and everything, and applied for the interview and got called off out for the interview. And I went. The first interview I failed because I was so intimidated. I went there and found all the tall blonde women, and I was like, excuse me, with my nappy head and with my low self-esteem, how am I going to do this? I found everyone was tall, everyone was beautiful, and I was like, oops, I can't make it here. So I failed because I had very low self-esteem. And then after that, I went again for a second interview, and that is when I in the middle of the interview, my previous boss called me and threatened to fire me if I don't show up at work by within 15 minutes. And I was just almost getting it like this. I was in the middle of that interview, and that was the job that was going to get me, at least got me a place called home. And I just looked at it as in the job was gonna pay me enough. I was gonna travel the world. I was gonna, meet people. I was gonna do a job that I've always dreamt of doing. And this boss of mine was just taking away this opportunity just like that. I was crying. I tried to make myself look strong in the interview, but I was really upset. I didn't want them to see that I was weak by showing my tears. So I explained to my interviewer that, listen, my boss is actually angry right now and they are calling me. Can I reschedule this interview? And by God's grace, they rescheduled my interview. I went to my boss, they rescheduled my interview and gave me the interview again, and I passed the interview. So when I passed the interview, that is when I started doing paperwork, did my medicals, did everything, and they just told me, don't resign until we give you a go ahead, because sometimes you could resign and then things don't go through, like your medicals and everything else, your security background doesn't go through. So just keep your job. So I was just in my job keeping it, like I was so excited. Like, actually guys, to be honest, the happiest day of my life was when I got a job as a flight attendant. I was super happy, so happy, unbelievable, So anywho guys, to cut the long story short, I got the job. I joined training. I trained for like 8 weeks, I think. Yeah, I trained for 8 weeks. The training was a bit difficult for me because I never flew before, and it was not easy for me to catch things, because most people in my class had flown before. So I was always afraid and very intimidated and afraid of asking questions. So the person, the instructor could just talk, and I was like trying to take notes, and I couldn't understand what they were talking about. And come exams, I'm like, I'm failing. So I failed my exams because I was very intimidated. My first exams, but at least you have a chance to redo the exams and pass. So I failed a couple of my exams and my flying exams, but then after all I passed them and I got my flying license and my wings to start flying. So guys, I just want to say and again, when it comes to this job, it is so easy for you to spend money because you go to Paris, you go to New York, you go everywhere in the world, and you want to live the life, but sometimes I look at myself and I say, listen, you come from a very, very, very poor background. If you are not smart with your money, this job is not your father's. You could get laid off anytime, and you need to have something back home. You need to have something to go back to, So most of the girls who are working in the Emirates or who are working as flight attendant, they have families, they have people, they have inheritance, they have houses to inherit, they have better lives back home. But for me, when I look at myself, I don't want to waste it. I want to take this opportunity to travel and enjoy the world, but at the same time to save as much as possible. So I've always been a very strict saver. I don't care. People usually say to me, oh, why why you go to a destination and you don't go for shopping, you don't do this. And I'm like, I'm not here to do that, you know. Like, I do it once in a while, but not always. So I found myself saving enough to buy me a home, and now I can proudly say that by the grace of God, I have a place called home. Not only one but two homes at the moment. But then it came with a lot of dedication and a lot of disciplining myself. Sometimes I want Jimmy Choo. Sometimes I want Louis Vuitton. Sometimes I want things that, you know, nice things. But I feel like, you know, I weigh options. I say to myself, wait, if I buy Louis Vuitton now and I don't have brick or cement to continue this project, what is going to be my life like if something were to happen today that I get laid off? So I choose brick and cement over Jimmy Choo and having fun and, you know, doing all this thing. I do have fun. I'm an indoor kind of a person. I'm a very homebody. I am very, like, you know, so I'm not really bothered so long as if I have internet and I have my movies and you know, I don't really just stay indoor all the time. But when for the sake of saving money, I have to. I'm sorry, I have to. But anyway, my life is not less. My life is as enjoyable as it can be because I have. It's not only, you cannot just enjoy life because you have money to spend. You can enjoy life with the less, because I came from less, so I know how it is to have nothing. So I don't see the point of overspending and having nothing to call home for, or even nothing to save at the end of the day. So anywho, guys, that is how I have learned to, that is how I came from where I was to where I am today. And I'm thankful to God. And sometimes I look at people usually say, oh, well, things just happen to other people and not others. Well, I'm still in that place where I feel like I'm not yet where exactly I want to be, especially when it comes to having life partner and having children and all that. That is a wish that I have. And sometimes I usually tell myself, come on, there is a place in the Bible where it's written that you look at the things, like try to remember where God had brought you from, and try to remember the things that God had done in the past, and make those things to be your motivation now, to know that the way he did in the past, he is capable to do even now, you know. Let that be your motivation every time. Remember the time that you were in your hardest situation and you got over it, you got through it. The same will happen even now as you remember. Just sometimes the enemy just wants us to think about the negatives all the time, the things that are not happening good in our lives. He doesn't want us to focus on the goodness of God and the things that he has done. And I'm trying each and every day to look at the good sides of life, even as I believe God for a partner for the future, you know. And I know it will come to pass one of these fine good days, and I will also share with you that journey, and I will also give you that testimony as well. So guys, I don't want to take more of your time. I hope you got something from this video, and please give me more of video suggestion, things that you'd like me to talk about in this channel. And I thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me, and please subscribe and give my video a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll speak to you in my next one. Have a good day. Bye.